Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sportsline. They're crazy back there. You can't understand how crazy they are. Mike Pavlik here tonight. Bob's got the night off, so George Guido is here along with us. And George, welcome to the proceedings tonight. It should be
great to be here. You know,
it should be a hoot and holler.
Yeah.
We have plenty of things to talk about. Not the least of which is the Pirates falling apart one piece at a time.
Boy, how fast things can change. A week ago was the All-Star break. The Pirates coming off that great series against the Cardinals, particularly the last two nights, extra inning victories, and now things are just deteriorating by the minute.
I said here last Monday that I was at the game Sunday night, and I don't think I would ever have to go to another game again. Now I don't think I ever want to go to another game again. That kind of really changed in a hurry.
You mean you don't want to see Brent Morrell and Travis Ishikawa? And
We're going to get into the Pirates minor league system, which is supposed to be so awesome. I'm not expecting that they would have a prospect ready at AAA at each position, but I would like to have somebody that they call up actually be a young player that was somebody that they drafted and they developed and would have their first crack at the major leagues in a Pirate uniform now, and not someone else's rejects, which is what we're getting at this point.
Basically, that's exactly what's happening. Hey, we don't get a chance to talk about golf very often on the show because most tournaments end on Sundays. Right. But today they had the final round of the delayed British Open, and Spieth almost made it.
I'll tell you what, it was great theater, and that is I love major championship golf. It's one of my favorite things to watch, and he was there, and by one shot, and you go back to the 35 or 30, 36, 30, whatever putts he had on the Friday round, which spilled over into Saturday. All the 3 putts and 1 4 putt that he had today, the chip in that he almost had, and he missed out the playoff by 1 shot. And you talk about history, you don't see guys win the first 3 legs of the Grand Slam. It's only happened by Ben Hogan once. And they showed the list of people that had tried to win their third, and it is Spieth, Woods, Nicklaus, and Palmer. I mean, that's
a foursome.
Yeah, could you imagine? But it was great, and Zach Johnson won. It's the second major. As we continue on the long list of players that have won since Tiger Woods won one, I have the list in here. We'll get to that maybe at some point later on, but I believe it's 29 major championships have been contested since Tiger Woods won his last one.
Isn't that unbelievable?
And
who would have thought, 10 years ago in 2005, even a little bit beyond that we would be talking about Tiger Woods' career basically in past tense.
Well, as he is basically now a ceremonial golfer, and that he is to the point that I remember Arnold Palmer at when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that he was out there to shake hands and glad hand, and I'm going to get it back. Yeah, Arnold said that all the time.
Yeah.
And but here's the thing: Zach Johnson won today at age 39, and Tiger's 39. So there's time, and it can be done, but he's going to have to speed it up a little bit. All right, we do have some calls, so let's get to rules if we want to do that, and then we can get to the callers out there. There you see the number on your screen, 724-236-0430. You can win a prize every other week per household. The Grand Salami Prize or the Mystery Profile are a once per month. We do that by the calendar, so it's easy for you to remember. You could try the Mystery Profile once per calendar month. Once you give it a shot, even if you miss, you can't try it until next month, and we're nearing the end here of July. 15 seconds for multiple choice, 20 for the salami, and the Mystery Profile goes clue by clue. And first-time callers with the correct answer will get 2 or more prizes, and that's anyone that hasn't called in the last year, and we're pretty liberal with that. DoubleDribbleBob.com, online for Bob's website. A lot of the answers, you'll get 4 stories updated every week, and some really interesting stuff on there that many times can morph into trivia. And then, of course, the radio show, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. on WAVL. That's 910 on your AM dial. And you see the number up on the corner, 724-236-0430. And as we implore you every week, if you're watching this on a Thursday night on television, jot that number down on your wrist in ink, as Uncle Dougie used to say, and give us a call next Monday between 6 and 7. And even if you're not watching on the Google machine, you can still do that and give us a call and participate on the show. We have a couple of callers lined up there ready to go. So the Pirates are in Kansas City, which really looked like it was going to be pretty big, and now you're just going to hope to keep your head above water at this point.
What about the possibility of starting the post-All-Star break maybe 1-9? Because they have 3 against Kansas City, 4 coming up against Washington this coming weekend before they go out to Minnesota. I mean, there's a possibility of a 1-9 start after the All-Star break.
And the thing that makes it worse, George, is the way he started out with the pitching rotation.
Yeah, I couldn't
and
figure that
now
out.
you have inequities in who's facing who. You're going to have the better pitchers are going to be facing the worst end of your rotation here for the first couple of weeks here, and that's going to make it difficult also. Now I give Jeff Locke a whole lot of credit yesterday. He pitched a terrific game. He deserved a better fate. They played Keystone Cops there, their Bad News Bears inning, and kicked the ball around on him. And that you can't ask for much more out of Jeff Locke than that. Frankly, he's pitching better than Morton is right now. I still think that they need to go out and get themselves a frontline starter. But how much money are they going to want to spend? And now they have other things that have cropped up that they're going to need to address. And I still think they're trying to look at right field. And I have it on relatively decent authority that they've had it up to here with Pedro, and they're looking to move on.
I mean, you just listened to what Huntington said on his radio show Sunday, and what Hurdle said in either his pregame or his postgame news conference Saturday night up in Milwaukee. I mean, they didn't exactly throw Pedro under the bus, but they gave him far from a ringing endorsement.
Exactly. So we'll see what goes on with that. The trading deadline is a mere 11 days from now. So these things are moving along rather quickly today, Monday being the 20th, and that will be on the 31st. So we'll keep our eyes and ears out for that. And the Steeler camp starts this weekend. I can't believe that either. So, all right, we're going to take our first break of the night. We want to do that. We'll be back. We have a couple of callers lined up. We want to give them their proper due. So let's take the break, and we'll be back right after this.
Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Faldarelli Square.
For over 38 years and 3 generations, Arnold Furniture has been the area's favorite furniture store. We have over 4 floors of living rooms, dining rooms, recliners, bedding, carpeting, and so much more.
You'll always find friendly personal service from one of the family.
And our prices consistently beat the competition, plus free local delivery and free setup guaranteed. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
Why do my customers choose Husqvarna Power Equipment? And that's easy, because my landscaping crew has to rely on a durable product.
I need the performance and quality that Husqvarna provides.
And the innovative products that help me move on with my day.
For maintenance parts or accessories, I don't have to go far. I know my Husqvarna dealer is right around the corner. Make the impossible possible and visit a Husqvarna dealer near you.
Remember to enjoy 16-ounce Bud Light drafts for only $2.25 or the 23-ounce drafts for only $3 during all Pirates games at the Breakaway on Craigdale Road across from the parking lot of the New Kensington Lower Borough Ice Rink. 23-ounce draft for $3. You can't beat that, so get in there and catch some Bucko baseball. George?
All right, and don't forget about my book, Ali Kiski Sports History. It's available at Costello's Printing, 5th Avenue in Trenton, right across the railroad tracks from Gatto's Cycle Shop. Or if you prefer, order online at www.wordassociation.com. It's the way a lot of people are ordering their books nowadays, and if you're going on vacation, want to sit on the beach and read a book while you're away, well, I hope you consider Ali Kiski Sports History. Mike, as we said, you have a couple callers.
We do. That is great beach reading, by the way. That's been done already once by me, so I know that for a fact. All right, first caller is up. You're in the store. Good evening. You're first on the Wash Day hotline.
Wash Day hotline. That's pretty good. Hi.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Terry.
Hey, Terry.
Hi, Terry.
Terry, we saw your picture. We showed it last week.
I saw that. I couldn't stay on last week. I had a kind of a family crisis going on. But yeah, I was able to tape it Thursday night and then play it back and got to see it.
It's pretty awesome, though. Yeah, you were definitely conflicted.
Speaking of conflicted, Jordy Mercer. I didn't think that was a dirty play. In fact, I think that he was trying to slide into him. He was trying to break up the double play, but I think Jordy was kind of approaching that a little badly and helped to get himself tangled up and hurt.
Well, everyone, in fact, in the Pirate locker room, to a man, they were saying after the game, oh, that was a baseball play, that was a baseball play. But I don't know too many people who start their slide at about 78 or 79 feet between bases.
Oh, no, I agree. He was not trying to slide into the base.
No.
He was trying to break up the double play.
No.
Well, then stop. Here's my thing. I think now that every time a pitcher bunts the ball up the first baseline, you know how the first baseman will come in and field the ball, and the pitcher will stop, and the first baseman will tag the pitcher as the sacrifice works and the guy goes to second. I think pitchers should now just go for the legs of the first baseman since this is okay. Why don't we just start doing that? Why don't people just go low and start taking the first baseman's legs out? I think that'd be a great idea.
Well, I don't, but I think this was fine as it was. I see nothing wrong with it.
I think that if you're going to slide to break up a double play, that's great when you're sliding to the base. I'm still trying to figure out what base he was sliding to, because by the time he finished sliding and ran into a guy and then tumbled after it, he was still 5 feet from the base.
I remember about 1978 or 79, the Pirates were playing the Mets, and Willie Stargell started his slide about 10 feet from second base, and he stopped about 5 feet from the base. And the Mets player was getting ready to go over and tag him, and Willie called a timeout as if he was in football or basketball. Great Stargell play late in his career.
Hey, changing topics, the Indians won a game yesterday against Cincinnati in extra innings. They had 4 bases-loaded walks that drove in 4 of their 5 runs.
My goodness.
The 5th was on a sacrifice fly. I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, I tell you what, you got to get the Elias Sports Bureau out for that one.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I didn't know that's how that game shook out. I knew the score, and I knew it was in extra innings. Now, did they play that in Cleveland? Or?
No, that was in Cincy.
That was in Cincy, okay.
Yeah. Now, the Indians have a farm club in Niles, I think it is, just outside of Youngstown, called the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. They lost an extra inning game about a week ago, and it was due to a catcher's balk.
Oh.
The guy on third was allowed to score because of a catcher's balk.
You don't see those, but you see that almost as many times as you see a foot fault in tennis.
Yeah.
It's about the same regularity.
Of course, Valley lost the state playoff game when they were undefeated on a catcher's balk.
Is that right?
2010, yeah.
And then they came back. I never heard of that rule being enforced until I read this.
Yeah. And when it happened to Valley, they wanted to intentionally walk the girl. There was a runner on third base. They were playing Wilmington High School from up around Newcastle. So the girl who was catching for Valley, they signaled for an intentional walk, and she moved outside the catcher's box to catch the pitch. And meanwhile, you're not allowed to do it until the ball leaves the pitcher's hand.
Yeah.
So the umpire called a balk. Runner came in from third. The game where it was over. The Valley people screamed and screamed for weeks, and a lot of people told the umpire, "Hey, is it one of these rules that you shouldn't have had to enforce, or you should have explained something to the girl?" And the umpire replied, what other rules do you want me to not enforce? And
Well,
that was the end of the discussion.
He makes a point. I remember when that happened, and it's
Yeah.
like one of those strange things that you just don't see very often. And when do you enforce the rules and when do you? I don't blame umpires as long as they're consistent on things like that. You call it, call what you see.
You might remember that Tony predicted the Pirates would fall after the All-Star break. He blamed it on the All-Star break itself. I'm kind of blaming it on the Milwaukee jinx. It seems to be back again.
Yeah, what's the record for the Pirates the last 9 years in Milwaukee? Is something like 60-10 or 16-11. Milwaukee has just had mastery over the Pirates at that place.
Oh, the Pirates they're terrible. They've only won 4 road division games this year. 4.
My God.
And their batting average and runs scored are just awful on the road. They don't hit on the road in these division games at all. Do you know in their last 22 games in St. Louis, they're 4-18?
Oh, I believe that.
And that includes playoffs. And but that's only since they've been good, which makes it really strange.
Yeah.
But these are things they're going to have to get over. And those were the 3 easy games. George was talking about the schedule. Those were the 3 easy games coming out of the break that they just got done with. And now, you got to play these teams that are in playoff position. They have the second hardest schedule in baseball, the second half of the year. And I said that it was somewhere around August the 15th, something around there. We'll know by then because they have a brutal next month or so, 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks, and we'll see. I mean, they got to try to play 500 ball and ride this out until the schedule softens up on them a little bit.
Yeah, and they've got to make a trade for first base. They've got to find somebody that can hit 265 or 270 at first base and maybe hit 10 home runs in the rest of the year. And that anemic stat is a big upgrade.
Well,
I believe you're right.
Well, you're right, Terry. And here's the other thing, too. Pedro Alvarez has 15 errors. Mm-hmm. This was as of Friday night. He made his 15th error at first base. I went to the Major League Baseball stat page online, and they have 11 first basemen in the National League qualify for having enough playing time to qualify for the fielding championship. 11 of them, okay? Pedro Alvarez has made 15 errors. The other 11 first basemen combined made 23.
Yeah.
So think about that. They're averaging a little over 2 errors a person. Pedro has 15. The next highest guy was Freddie Freeman with 4.
Yeah, it's remarkable, isn't it?
You talk about he would need to have 30 home runs already to have made up for what he's costing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, I got a trivia question for you guys.
Oh, good.
And I will preface it by saying I doubt that this record will ever be broken. And the question is, what pitcher owns the record for the most strikeouts in one game by a relief pitcher?
Boy.
I'm going to say the person who relieved Babe Ruth. Was it Eddie Shore in 1918?
Ernie Shore?
Babe Ruth walked the first batter of the game, got thrown out of the game. He argued balls and strikes. They brought in a relief pitcher who more or less pitched a perfect game after that. And I'm assuming it's that. Who is it?
No, it's not. Now I'll give you the total strikeouts he got was 16.
Wow.
As a reliever. And it was Randy Johnson.
Oh, that makes sense.
Now, here's the tricky part of it. The game was being played and got suspended.
And then
when they started another day, Randy came in
as
a starter that day, but officially a reliever.
It was his day to pitch, so they let him finish up the game. That can happen. I was going to say like Mo Drabowski or something
like that. Yeah. Hoyt Wilhelm.
Yeah.
There you go. A name from the past.
Hey, that's a great question, though.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Yeah, I forget where I saw that. It was just a couple days ago, and
make a mental note of that one. That
very, very odd situation.
Yeah, well, he's going in the Hall of Fame in a couple of weeks.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
In the Boss too, in the Football Hall of Fame, where it's going to be Hall of Fame.
It's going to be a great.
Things are getting
week
busy
coming
as
up.
summer winds up here already.
Yeah.
Hey,
if I qualify for the salami, I'll give that one a shot and get out of here so somebody else can get on.
All right, Mike. What do you?
All right, Terry. Let's give it a shot. Okay, numbers 1 through 5 would all be available.
Let me try 3.
All right, number 3.
Speaking of Babe Ruth.
Speaking of. Who was the first catcher to win back-to-back batting titles?
I heard this the other day somewhere. It's from Minnesota. Is it Mauer?
It really, really is Joe Mauer. That happened in 2008, 2009. How about that?
Where did I hear that? Was it
I don't
on your show?
Was it here? It might have been. You know what it probably was, and it does sound familiar to me. It may have ended up. It may have been on the other page, and asked in a different way as a multiple choice or something. I'm not sure.
That could be. Yeah.
It's possible. Yeah. But that's okay, Terry. You were the beneficiary. You're the winner. See, because you pay attention.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he's a first baseman now.
Because you taped the show, so you could see yourself. It's probably why you won.
There you go.
All right.
Hey, well, thanks a million, guys.
All right. Great hearing from you, Terry.
Thanks, Terry.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Georgia, talk about summer winding down. High school football 6 weeks from this coming Friday.
And we are already working on our stories for the Valley News Dispatch and the Tribune Review tabloid, which will be the Sunday before the first game this year, which I think is somewhere around the 30th of August,
Right,
whatever the last Sunday of August.
I don't think the season starts till the 4th. Is
Right.
that what it is?
The 4th is the first games.
Because Labor Day is late, and so they usually and if I'm not mistaken, I believe I saw a note about this, that the PIAA championship games, I believe, are going to take place the Saturday before Christmas.
Yes. Yes.
There is no reason the season shouldn't start a week earlier. I mean,
everybody's ready to go.
Well, Burrell's in school on the 20th,
which I can't believe.
Which blew me away when I saw that they were out early. I think they were through on the 1st of June, but they'll be back on. They can't, and I already saw the story about Dave Bellinati taking over as head coach, and that they can't go to camp this year because school's in.
Yeah.
Which it just doesn't. The two things
can't get over that.
I can't either. I'm really surprised about that.
Well, we're due for a break, I believe, Mike.
Let's take one. We have a caller on the line, so let's take the break, and we will be back and answer some more of your questions and give you some too right after this.
The Breakaway Bar and Grill satisfies hungry appetites with their great menu selections. Join your friends at The Breakaway and enjoy a variety of tasty sandwiches, great salads and sides, pizza, calzones, and select tasty items from their kids' menu. Fountain beverages, coffee, tea, your favorite beers, and mixed drinks are available. The Breakaway Bar and Grill across the parking lot from the New Kensington Lower Borough Ice Rink. This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go. Italian sausages, pokies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
Enjoy 16-ounce Bud drafts for only $2.25 or the 23-ounce drafts for only $3 during all Pirates games at the Breakaway, Craigdale Road, across from the parking lot of the New Kensington Lower Borough Ice Rink down on Falcons Park Road.
The old Falcons Nest, for those of you that might be familiar with that, you'll know exactly where to go. And they're building condos across the street there, so that's going to be a really busy, bustling area there. So, old Rabbit's Foot Lake over there.
Yeah, yep. The drained Rabbit Foot Lake.
Spent many a Friday nights over there at the old joint that was there. So that was a lot of fun after football. All right, we have another caller on the line. Let's take that right now. I believe it's Tony. Good evening, sir. Tony's asleep. Sweet. We do that to a lot of people, Tony.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, you're back. Oh,
You're
okay.
back.
I was taking a little nap.
I'm sorry, we had business to attend to.
Yeah, hate to interrupt your nap time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm ready.
But anywho,
I want to congratulate Terry.
Yes.
For his win.
Yeah.
Right.
and then I got a warning: stay out of my territory.
Uh-oh.
I don't mess with Mr. Your Profile. Don't mess with my salon. And I don't know if Bob told him this, but when he was at the Cleveland game, Terry, and I don't know if it was the seventh inning or whatever it was, but the announcer says, "Oh, look at this guy. He's got an old pirate hat on, and he's got an old Cleveland Indian shirt on." You know, and I said, "Oh well, you know, what are you going to do? He's rooting for both of them." And it was Terry.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Well, Terry mentioned it on the show that he had his pirate hat on and he had this old Cleveland Indian. You know, and I said, "I'll be darned." I said, "They showed him on there."
How about that?
So I told Bob. Bob said, "I got to tell Terry that," but I don't know if he did or not.
I know I missed it because I was at the game that night, so I didn't see the television.
Yeah.
I was at the game the same
So
night,
I just wanted to get that across.
That was the game they lost. Yeah, that was the game they lost from the homestand. That's the one. I went to. Right.
Yeah. Can we complain this week now?
Well, you can complain anytime you want.
Bob, you may remember Bob say, no complaints, no complaints. It was the last game they played when it beat.
I talked to George on the phone last night for about 10 minutes, and we complained for 10 minutes. So, go ahead.
You can complain, you know. What bozo manager in all of baseball sits a starter when they're playing their division foes? Not once, not twice, I don't know how many times. I never seen anybody do that.
And 2 days after the All-Star break.
Yeah, 2 days after he had a 4-day, 3-day for him All-Star break.
You know, that was a disgrace. I don't know, lackluster. You know, a lot of guys worked hard to get him to 2.5 games, and they just threw it all away. Just like,
so quickly.
Oh, we don't feel like playing. We didn't make the All-Star game, and the guys that did, you know. Lariano, oh, I don't feel like pitching today. I got a stiff neck. I got a stiff arm. You know, I'm sneezing. Or, you know.
And the question, when that came up, okay, you know, everybody gets hurt every so often, but why then did they bring Worley out? Why didn't they move all the starters back? Now they're giving Cole 1 week rest after pitching 1 inning in the All-Star game. It's unbelievable.
George, let me give you a clue. Once we get a manager, that might happen. You might see that someday. I'm sorry. They think this guy's great. He's terrible. He cost them a lot of games during the season every year.
And then he complains. Now, he had to bring Worley out of the bullpen, which, if you're a spot starter, you got to be prepared to go in case something happens early. That's fine. But the other night, he had to use the bullpen more extensively. So then he complained after the game that for Sunday's game, he didn't have a lot of his bullpen people. Well, if he would have moved up his starters a day in which they were all rested, he wouldn't have that problem. It's the same thing year after year. He overuses his bullpen. Then when we get to August, he goes, oh, our bullpen's worn out. Well, you're the manager that calls them in all the time.
That's right.
Sometimes unnecessarily.
That's right. And then, you know, Melanson, he comes in, he pitches, to 3 batters maybe, and the innings up. Is that all he has? You mean he couldn't go another inning? You know,
yeah.
I just don't understand this pitching thing that they come up with. You know, I know LaRusso started all this crap, like that.
Did.
But
yes, he was the one.
This bozo goes beyond, what should be done. I just don't understand it. I don't understand anything about this team anymore. You know, the lackadaisical in the outfield, the running, the same story. Can't bunt, can't steal, can't slide. And I think it's just awful. Look,
you go back to yesterday's game.
They're only 4.5 games out. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. It's right on the platter.
Really that good? I don't think so. I mean, it couldn't be with a bozo team like this. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you take, and I know it's hard to compare eras sometimes, but yesterday's game. Now, I listened to the latter stage of the game on the radio. I was covering an American Legion game down in Shaler for the Connellsville newspaper. So I get in the car. It's 1-0 Pirates. Instead of bunting in the top of the 7th, Sean Rodriguez hits into a double play, his specialty. So the bottom of the inning, first guy up walks, the next guy up popped a Polanco, I believe. Then after that, there was another base hit. And then Chris Davis came up to the plate. Now, in Danny Murtaugh's era, a close game at the start of the 7th inning, he would always have a left-hander and a right-hander warming up in the bullpen, no matter what the starter was doing. And after Chris Davis had that double, they said on the radio, well, Jared Hughes is fidgeting around in the bullpen. He's taking his jacket off. You know, he wasn't even ready to come in, so they had to go out and stall, so he had some time to warm up. Danny Murtaugh would have had 2 guys warmed up.
Right.
Not 1, but 2.
He doesn't do that. George, you don't want to break up the pinochle game in the bullpen, for Christ's sake. Come on. You know? I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, I mean, what does this bozo think? If he puts up pitchers, the pitchers on the mound's going to think, oh man, he's got no confidence in me. No, it's being ready. It's being
trying
prepared.
To be ready to win the game.
And we do not do that.
Do you know that they count how many times a guy gets up in the bullpen as wear and tear on their arm, and that's why they don't like to warm guys up.
Yeah, unless they're actually going to use it.
When it's in the 9th inning, and you have your closer, and he's in trouble. You know, I mean, you don't have to go out. You could just toss. You know, just start to warm up in the 9th inning.
You can't pull your closer because that's your closer.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if he gets into trouble.
Well, exactly. And here's the other thing. This happened a couple of weeks ago, and I won't go through the whole thing, but I was explaining to someone that, you know, Kent DeColvey was the closer, and not only was he he was unquestioned the closer because he was a very good one, and he pitched when the Pirates last won the World Series. He pitched nearly 100 games. He pitched 90-some games that year. And you know what's interesting about that? Grant Jackson still found time to get 14 saves. And you know why that was? Because Chuck Tanner wasn't afraid to not use his closer in some situations. And if 3 lefties were stacked up, Grant Jackson would come in to pitch to him in the 9th inning because he had confidence.
That's what I mean. This guy doesn't do it. You know, he just, you know, if there's times when, like you said, there's 3 or 4 left-handers stacked up. Oh, he's, you know, our left-handers are non-existent when it comes to
our
him.
left-handers,
you know?
we want to make sure that they can get both guys out. Well, you know, sometimes the reason that the left-handers don't play against left-handers is because they can't hit them. We would know that because our left-handed batters can't hit left-handed pitchers.
That's for certain.
So maybe that would translate over to the other way that when
maybe not. It's, I mean, okay, you know, I mean, just you could go on and on and on forever. Let's get off that subject because it's very sour in my stomach, and you know, and the effort is really bad. And believe me, if they make a trade, it'll be for some bozo, because that's all we have. The guys we picked up are old and bozos. Another thing, our catcher. I mean, you know, I really like the guy, don't get me wrong. But, again, a pass ball because his glove was closed. A strike 3, which the umpire didn't call.
Sir, that pitch was right down the middle.
How many times I got to see this guy with a glove closed?
I have a buddy that I watch games with sometimes, and he says he misses the ball more than any catcher I've ever seen in my life. Balls that are right there, and he literally doesn't catch the ball.
Yeah, because the glove is closed. I couldn't believe it.
It's all concentration.
I don't know. Well, that's why he's here.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody else we have. You know, and all these phenoms we were supposed to bring up.
Yeah,
you put them all together, and you couldn't even make a good Legion player.
And the Cardinals called up their top prospect today. He happens to be a first baseman, by the way. So.
Well, naturally. You know, I mean, they have good guys in the minor leagues, you know. And, you know, we're always supposed to have the greatest minor leagues in the world, but we don't. You know, and it's been proven year after year and after year. And I don't know who their scouting department is, but I think somewhere along the line you should think about getting somebody else to do your scouting because, whew, it's unbelievable. Now, let's go to the golf.
Yes.
All right, Zach Johnson, you know, I was happy that he won.
Me too, I like Zach Johnson.
And you were talking about, you know, the Grand Slams and that. You forgot about the Tiger Slam.
Oh, if he won 4 in a row.
Huh? Well, yeah, but he didn't win the Masters. He won 3 in a row, then the following year he won the Masters.
Masters coming back.
It wasn't in the same calendar.
We're talking about calendar.
Yeah. That's right. No, it wasn't in the same year. The 3 was.
Right.
Yeah, but like I said, he didn't win the Masters. That's the first one.
Right.
So then he won the Open, he won the British, and then he won the PGA.
Right.
And then the following year, he won the Masters, which gave him the Tiger Slam, as they would call it. But not all in one year. It was only Bobby Jones that did that.
Shows you how difficult it is.
Serena Williams just did that in tennis. They called it the Serena Slam.
Yeah.
Same deal. She did it wrapping around, too. Yeah.
Well, naturally, you know, I mean, you know, it isn't easy because... you know, you got to be.
Tony, how well did Spieth play? Seriously, he was probably the best player tee to green for the entire 5 days of the tournament. But his putter let him down. He really was. I think he was really thrown off by those greens. It's just so different between the speed of some of the greens are fast. Some of them they had to let grow because of where they were. That 11th green they had to be really slow because the ball was going to blow off. That's where they couldn't keep the ball steady. And between that and factoring the wind into your putting, which you don't do over here, sorry, you just don't.
Well, let me tell you another thing that hurt him. I don't care what they say about that. but he should have never played the John Deere, okay? Because the next morning he was out at the Open putting on the green because him and Phil Mickelson had a match against two other guys for money.
Of course.
And he said that, but he should have came over and played the Scottish Open. He could have been rested up. He could have done everything, you know. I mean, the first day, you know, wow, he started out bang, 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 and then all of a sudden he ran into a brick wall.
Yeah.
All right.
It was funny that, you know, they said, you know who finished second at the John Deere?
Yeah.
Zach Johnson did, but he's played the British Open 100 times. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Spieth had never seen St. Andrews. He never played.
That's right.
And I know Mickelson always comes over and plays the Scottish Open to start with a lot of those guys too.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, he felt, now here's the thing, and I'm going to give the kid credit for this. He felt an obligation to that tournament because that's where he won his first tournament.
Right.
Before he had won
sentimental value.
Before he had won either of the first two legs of the Slam this year, he had committed that he was going to play there and he wasn't going to back out. So I give him credit for that.
He left that night.
Right.
If he would have waited till Monday, you know, got a rest, maybe, you know, Monday afternoon, you know, went over, and then, you know, the Tuesday and Wednesday practice, you know, see the course and everything.
Now he's young and invincible. He probably thought he could get away
I know,
with it.
but
he's 21.
Oh well, hey, you know, whatever. But like I said, I'm glad to see Zach Johnson
he's
win.
Good for he's good for the game. The game needs him.
Oh yeah,
and I'm very happy for Zach Johnson because you could tell how much that meant to him, and he's a good egg too. And it's like there are a lot of good players. There's more than just one.
Yeah. Hey,
you know what? How about that amateur from the United States?
A couple of them.
And the one from
yeah,
Ireland.
but he come in. He got the medal. He got the silver medal.
Yeah.
Because he was 11 under.
Yep.
And there was an amateur from Ireland, but he fell apart.
Oklahoma
but still,
State,
he didn't do bad.
Oklahoma State's obviously a factory for college golf because, man, that kid was all Oklahoma Stated up. You could tell with those orange pants. So. You know,
who was Oklahoma State?
Yeah, well, yeah, the kid that won it was Low-Am was from Oklahoma State.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Irish kid, he was from Alabama, Birmingham.
He went to UAB. So did Graham McDowell. It's like the pipeline from Ireland to UAB. I can't figure it out.
Hey, you know what? These guys come over and they tune their golf, you know, at our colleges.
Hey, Faldo went to Houston for a while. He went to Houston for a year. That's where he and Nance met. That's why they're such buddies.
Yeah.
They knew each other in college.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And let's not forget. Next year, they'll be coming here to Oakmont.
I can't wait.
And
you know what? I'm working Oakmont next year.
Oh, you're already in as a marshal?
Yep, I got accepted already.
That's great.
Oh, there'll be no funny business down there with Tony as a marshal.
I'm I'm the marshal in town. I skipped right over sheriff. I went right to marshal.
From mayor to marshal. I love it.
I carry a big stick, too.
You do. All right, Tony, let's get to the trivia here.
I can't.
You won last week on the Steve Carlton question.
That's right. Old lefty. All right.
See, I'm honest. All right, guys. Hey, have a great day. I'm glad Bob took a day off.
He did.
He deserves it.
Yeah, I was talking to him. He said, they told me to take it. I said, why don't you? I said, you need it. You can stay at home and drive your wife crazy.
Exactly. All right,
all right, guys. Have a good one.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks. All right. We're going to tell the folks about Matteo's before we move along here. Anybody, when you call in tonight, it's at 724-236-0430. Want to take a shot at the mystery profile. It is sponsored by Matteo's Pizza. Matteo's Pizza and Subs in Brackenridge Heights. Everything on the Matteo's menu is made with quality ingredients, and that could be the reason that people proudly pass on the word about their great food. Hand-tossed pizzas, gyros, subs, hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and much, much more. And remember that signature Iron Man hoagie, which Mr. Barton so beautifully had out here on the table a few months back that we enjoyed, and the studio still smells of it in a good way. It was quite wonderful, and it is enormous. So that is Matteo's Pizza, right next to the District Magistrate's office, Broadview Boulevard in Brackenridge Heights. You can give them a call at 724-904-7312. All right, we're going to take our next break. We're going to do that here right now. Do we have another caller back there, guys? No, sorry. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. So we have open lines for you, 724-236-0430. You can get in right now if you're watching on Monday night. And again, if you're watching on Thursday, write that down. So let's take our next break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Since 1914, the local area has relied on the Resevich family of funeral homes in deepest times of need. The Rusevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley, now 100 years strong and still doing things right. Its reputation and unquestionable service now continues with a fourth generation. The Rusevich family of funeral homes, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road in Lower Borough.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380, Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380, Murraysville.
Trust Snyder Heating and Remodeling to ensure your home is properly climate controlled. Get free estimates on roofing, siding, doors, and windows, heating, and air conditioning. Since 1982, local residents have called on the Snyder family for reliable, trustworthy service. They treat your home like it's their own. Call on Snyder Heating and Remodeling to have them inspect your air conditioning system to make sure you're ready for the hot summer. Snyder Heating and Remodeling proudly supports our veterans and the men and women who proudly serve our country today.
Remember, you can enjoy 16-ounce Bud Light drafts for only $2.25 or 23-ounce drafts for only $3 during all Pirate games at the Breakaway, and that's on Craigdale Road across the parking lot from the New Kensington Lower Borough Ice Rink. $2.25 for 16 ounces, $3 for 23 ounces. Considering the way the Buccos have been playing, I think that sounds like a very good deal.
Very, very much so.
So that'll work out for you. So get down there and give it a shot.
Hey, and we have some great news for those of you who are fans of the Hot Dog Guys. The Hot Dog Guys are now at a new location. They're now serving hot dogs in Sarver along Route 356 next to the True Value Hardware store as you're heading towards Lernerville, a little bit past Freeport High School, about a half mile or so, a little bit past the Giant Eagle. So they will be setting up shop there, and we hope you go visit the Hot Dog Guys at their new location. Mike?
Sounds like Outronic territory out there, right? Heading out toward
You got
Lernerville.
it.
That'll work out beautifully. So get on out there and give that a shot. So we do have a call. We do. That's good. Let's take that right now. Good evening. You're next.
Good evening, John. This is
Hey,
Rich from
Rich.
Cheswick.
Hi, Rich.
Good. Hey, do you guys remember the first 3 games of the season when the Pirates lost the first 3 games to Cincinnati?
Yes, sir.
Now in the second half, now they lost 3 to the Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that that's an omen?
I was thinking about that yesterday, the fact that they started out 0-3, but they ended up at the break 18 games at over 500, right?
Right.
Well, I hope they don't start out 18-22 in the first half.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to get away with that this time. But,
Well, Kansas City has a record of 30-16 at home.
Yeah, they're just, I'll tell you what, they've come up with quite a ball club, and even have their left fielder out, Alex Gordon, and what did they do? They plugged somebody else in.
Yeah, they
Must
grabbed
be nice
somebody
to have
from
a
the
farm
minor
system.
leagues. I believe
How
his
about
name-
that?
Orlando, I believe. They brought him up and put him in left field, and son of a gun if they didn't have somebody ready to go to play that position. It's amazing how that works when you're in minor leagues. But I'll tell you what, they've gotten good all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Somewhere about the middle of last season, it all came together for them. I'm happy for Ned Yost because the geek, the media, just doesn't like the guy at all. They think he's too old school and doesn't know what he's doing. So I'm glad they won. Won the pennant. Went to the 7th game of the World Series. I mean, it was a terrific World Series, and they were this close. And then they're right back there again. And they took a lot of they took a lot of motivation from the fact that a lot of teams didn't pick them coming into this year. That people thought, okay, that was their nice fluky year, wasn't that cute? And then people were still picking Detroit, or they were picking maybe the White Sox because they made a bunch of moves in the offseason. And guess what? The Royals are still the class of that division.
Yeah, they certainly
With the
are.
Twins that nobody saw.
I know I didn't.
No, me neither.
Now, there's Batista now for Toronto. He's got 19 home runs ready. We didn't want him.
Yeah.
Joey
And
Bats.
who did they get? Robinson Diaz,
Yes.
a catcher for him that lasted maybe about 6 weeks with the Pirates. Now, in fairness to the Pirate management and anybody else, Batista got a hold of a new batting coach up in Toronto who changed his stance, and it's made all the difference in the world. And but I kind of like Batista when he was in Pittsburgh. He played a lot of center field, and Bill Verdon, who knows a little bit about playing center field, said that he never saw a center fielder get a jump on the ball the way Batista did when he was in Pittsburgh. And you know, at PNC Park, how much ground you got to cover in center field. And you know, it's just one of those things. He was a member of some bad teams, and it took him about a half hour to get to first base. That was my only qualm about Batista when he was here. But it shows you what coaching can do for you, Rich.
And you know, there's a lot of talk about that. Some of the people that I talk to about the Pirates really question their organization's ability to coach power hitters. Yeah. And using Pedro Alvarez as an example, that they have completely changed him into trying to hit the ball the other way and everything. And really, it hasn't improved him at all. His batting average hasn't gotten any better. He's not knocking in runs at any higher of a pace. And I really think it's kind of messed with him. And you know, it's interesting. Neil Huntington has the best quote on Batista. He said, "Look, if I'd have known he was going to be Babe Ruth, I wouldn't have traded him." And that's, you know, you can't basically say, "Hey, that one's on me," and I got, you know, I'll own that.
I didn't hear anything on Mercer. What's wrong with him?
It was his knee. I think they lucked out. It's according to Hurdle, that's about best case scenario. It's a sprained MCL. He's not going to require surgery. It's also a bruised leg. I was afraid his leg was broken too. And it's the bruised. It's a contusion of the leg, which is a bruise, which is in the part where you would get the high ankle sprain at, in the mid calf area. So they're saying 6 weeks, which, you know, you'll have to see how the knee responds to treatment and what goes on, but they don't have to operate. And I think it's best case scenario. Now they're going to have to do something. I don't think they can go 6 weeks. Dung's going to play one of the two positions. He's either going to play third base or shortstop. They put him in shortstop. I'm fine with that. But he has the arm to play either one of them.
He does.
But they're going to have to make a replacement there. I'd say worst case scenario, maybe you take a look at Clint Barnes. They're already talking to San Diego about Upton. I think Joaquin Benoit from San Diego would be a great get to play him, pitch him in the 7th inning. So if they're actually doing some talking there. But here's the thing, George. If they need to make moves like this, and I don't know if they want to do anything big, but considering the fact that they haven't really had any prospects to bring up to fill the holes of these people, what exactly do they have to trade now?
Yeah, that's the problem. But Rich, something very interesting before we got on the air. Indianapolis Indians tonight, the Pirates' top infield prospect there, Alan Hansen, who has been a second baseman. He started out shortstop. They moved him to second base. He is playing third base for Indianapolis this evening. I find that to be very, very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
He started off as a shortstop, but they quickly came to the realization that he couldn't handle it defensively. So he's been playing second base, and he's been playing second base with an eye on that when they finally run Neil Walker out of town, which will probably come this winter or next winter, that Alan Hansen would move into second base. There was talk yesterday about maybe he could play shortstop, but the fact that they put him in third, George, that tells me that, you know, that's the wheels turning, that if they can't get something done by the deadline, he'll have had 10 days at third base in the minor leagues. I bet you see him up here on August 1st playing third. And Harrison, I saw a note that he was doing sprints in Kansas City today, just trying to keep his mind together more than anything, because that thumb's not going to heal quickly. And you just get hit basically in the same position twice, which, again, I don't want to jinx anything. I'm going to knock it. At least none of the main, very important people have gotten hurt here. The starting rotation has stayed healthy, other than this, whatever this neck thing is with Liriano. And
it seems minor.
And McCutcheon and those guys have avoided it. But they're on a dangerous slope right now. You take the injuries with the schedule, you know, it's difficult.
And underperforming people like Pedro and Polanco.
Yeah, they're not helping out. Okay, fellas, I'm ready for trivia.
Let's go.
All right. What would you prefer tonight, Rich?
Let me have the multiple choice.
Okay. Let's put up a multiple choice here at the top. And it's question number 1. It's coming up on your screen, Rich. Who is the only National Leaguer to twice win the Triple Crown? And you know what that is, Rich, leading the league in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. This guy won the Triple Crown twice. Was it Hugh Duffy, Chuck Klein, Joe Medwick or Rogers Hornsby?
Was it Rogers Hornsby?
And you are correct. We have another winner tonight. Rich will have a nice prize coming out to you, courtesy of Sportsline Trivia. We congratulate you and we thank you for the call.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks, Rich.
All right.
All right.
And by the way,
go ahead.
Joe Medwick was one of the guesses, but he only won a Triple Crown once, Mike. It was in 1937. He, and I forget the horse that year, but 1937 was the only year we had a Triple Crown winner both in horse racing and baseball. So that could come up someday.
Whoa, that is, name them both, and that could end up being a salami someday.
Yeah, that's salami worthy.
That is salami-esque.
To still, yeah, to still.
That is the line I use when I hear one like that. It's like, that is salami, and then I really need to write them down and get them to Bob, and I always forget to do it. It's like, Bob, I had a really great one for you. I wish I could tell you, but I forgot. You know, and that there was one 2 weeks ago that I know it was a Mets game I was watching, and I still can't remember what it is. I'm going through my mind: Tom Seaver, Jerry Kuzman, John Matt. You know, going through every Met I could to see if I could get a trigger. Dave Kingman, you know, anybody, Ed Kranepool. I don't know. I still can't come up with it, but eventually we'll get there.
Well, Ed Kranepool was around for something like 17 years.
The
So
old war
a lot
horse.
of times when you ask a Mets trivia question, the answer is going to be Ed Kranepool.
I loved Ed Kranepool. He's one of my favorites. He was on the championship team at 69 too. All right, we're going to take a break now. We have our last one up and coming. We still have some room for you if you want to get in here and dissect the Pirates some more. We're going to talk about the British Open today. We still call it the British Open because this is the United States of America, and I don't care if they get upset.
Hey, and you know what? Since we're in Leechburg tonight, Mike, before we run to our break, kid who grew up in Leechburg, Denny Wolf, his sister was a fantastic softball pitcher. His father was principal at Leechburg for a number of years. He's working for ESPN now, has won a number of awards. And he made the mistake a couple years ago being over there as a production guy for ESPN, and he said the British Open instead of the Open.
Oh, my goodness.
And it almost started, I kid you not, an international scandal. So in honor of Danny Wolf, we're still going to call it the British Open.
The British Open, exactly. So we're going to take our final break of the evening, and we will be back to wrap things up here on the show. We'll do that right after this.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. Come to Perry the Pizza Man to enjoy some great pizza. It all starts with people who know the art of making great pizza, including vegetarian. And there's more than great pizza on the menu. Order up one of their great hoagies, strombolis, calzones, and wedgies. It's all mouth-watering good. Sandwiches, pasta, fresh salads, and a list of side dishes just waiting to become your favorites. Perry the Pizza Man, Wildlife Lodge Road, Lower Borough. Go to their website for money-saving coupons.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Enjoy 16-ounce Bud Light drafts for only $2.25 or the 23-ounce drafts for only $3 during all Pirate games at the Breakaway, Craigdale Road, across from the parking lot of the New Kensington Lower Borough Ice Rink. The Breakaway Bar and Grill. And Mike, we have an opportunity to get one more call in at 726-236-0430. If you want to jump in real quick here. But through the magic of the internet, we found out the Triple Crown horse winner in 1937.
Was War Admiral, won the Triple Crown in 1937. And also through, in an amazing coincidence, and the hot dog guys will be thrilled to know this, that the first ever Triple Crown winner was Sir Barton. So Sir Barton was the winner, and that works out well for them.
Okay, so 1937 was the only year we had a Triple Crown winner both in horse racing and baseball. Now, in 2015, I think Bryce Harper still has an outside opportunity for a Triple Crown. I think batting average might do him in, Mike, unless I'm mistaken. Mike Trout, he's also a possibility, but isn't his average in the 290s or something like that?
I believe it is, how terrible.
But I wish we had somebody that bad.
Goodness.
But
he's terrific. You know, both of those guys, and Harper's just, I don't know. Harper can rub you the wrong way if you don't, if he's playing against your team. But he plays hard. Yeah. And like he'll run through a brick wall, and he's done a tremendous job for them. They're kind of a strange team too. Boy, they put all that pitching together, and people thought they would just run away with that division, and they haven't. And it's amazing that the Mets are hanging in there. The Mets have great young pitching, but their lineup is nothing. They don't hit at all.
They really don't. Well, they had an 18-inning game in St. Louis yesterday. They only scored 1 run over the front 17 innings. But Washington has had to overcome so many injuries. Jason Worth has his annual injury. Rendon was out. And I forget, Zimmerman, he's always hurt.
And then Ian Desmond at shortstop was doing his Pedro impression and couldn't throw the ball to first base. And then that carried over to his bat. He's a 20-something year home run a year guy. Now he's not hitting either, so they've had issues with that with Desmond. Rendon can play all over the infield. They haven't been able to use him. Ryan Zimmerman, they had to move him to first base from third base because he couldn't throw it to first last year. He ended up getting hurt. He's missed most of the season. And even Denard Span, who had been playing center field.
And I always liked him.
300. Oh, the Twins produced. You know, the Twins minor leagues, and we just touched on this for a second about the Twins. And Denard Span came from the Twins. Ben Revere, who's on the Phillies that the Pirates are supposedly looking at, came from the Twins.
They traded him for Worley.
Right. That the Twins minor league system produces players, and if you look at why the Twins are doing what they're doing now, they have a lot of young players that have come up through the system that they've had to wait for, and there are still 2 or 3 guys that they haven't that aren't even there yet. Hitters, and mostly hitters for the Twins, that are coming, and that's a team that is going to be a decent team, and they're comparing themselves a lot to what Kansas City's done. That a lot of these guys are going to come at the same time. And the Twins are going to be a good team. The Tigers, to me, look like a team in that division that are on their way down.
Yeah, it looks that way. Yeah, I thought they would be gangbusters today, or this year, but it just hasn't materialized for him. Now Cabrera's out, and that, of course, eliminates him from a Triple Crown win, which he had several years ago.
Already won one, and I mean, it had been so long. It had been since Yastrzemski, since there was one. And Yastrzemski, I don't even know what he hit 301 that year, if he even hit 300.
That was the year before. 67, he had a respectable average, but in 68, the year of the pitcher, he hit 301. And I think he had to go the last weekend of the season to get his average over 300.
Right. Well, which is amazing if you think about it. In the hitter-friendly American League, where nobody could hit 300, but that's not the case anymore with the DH and everything. But Pedro's DHing tonight, by the way. I don't know if we brought that up. But
no, we didn't.
I don't think they're not going to. But Ishikawa is playing first base. It's like this is completely turned to the beginning of last year, where Ishikawa now is playing first base while they're waiting to get somebody to take his place, just like they did last year when they got Ike Davis. I don't know. I see such a mess with that lineup right now. I just don't know where the runs are going to come.
You do, and it's a shame because everything was going so well. They had the best record in baseball between May 23rd and July 12th,
and put themselves in a great position. Yeah. And now you're just going to have to hope that they can hold on, and it's going to be up to the pitching. And with the pitching comes the defense. They're going to have to field better to make that pitching hold up, and that's really what they did not do in Milwaukee. They played so sloppy. Now, these games will have their attention, and sometimes it's hard to get their attention. Right. These games will have their attention this week, playing against Kansas City, playing the Nationals. So we'll see what happens if they're able to. If they're able to turn it back around. Well, we got to get out of here. I'm going to thank
we got to jump back. And
thanks, Hot Dog guys, for joining us. Thanks to George for sitting in for Bob.
Great being here.
I'm Mike Pavlik.
George Guido.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Tarentum and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.